Hey everybody, Mike Barr here. It is April 30th, 2023, and my Safety Sunday discussion for today is going to focus on, I want to talk about workplace safety attitude. Excuse me. A couple months ago, I was spending some time on a subreddit that deals with our industry, and somebody had posted a meme on this particular subreddit, and I've been wanting to address this for a while. You know, we have a lot of problems in our industry, and everybody is working very hard to try to create a better safety culture, and it's difficult, especially when you're dealing with so many different companies at the same time to try to change culture. But somebody had posted this meme, and what it is, it's a triangle, and at the top of it is an engineer, and they've got this goofy looking guy with a bow tie and glasses. And then on the right hand side of this triangle, there's it says human resources, and then on the left hand side, we've got the safety guy. And this meme is titled the Holy Trinity of Uselessness. Okay, and there was a lot of people commenting on this, and it became very clear to me that there are some really poor, there's some really strong opinions and attitudes towards safety in our industry, and it's a problem. It really is. Some of the comments to me were quite disturbing. There's a lot of people that just really have no use whatsoever, not only for their safety guy, but for the safety program in general. A lot of strong opinions on how much they dislike their safety guy and the safety program in general and their company. It was quite, I know this stuff is out there. I've dealt with it, but it was really eye-opening. So I want to talk a little bit about that today, because we're trying to change our culture. Now, I'm not going to try to pretend that there are some safety guys out there that may be not right for the job. I've been doing this a long time. I've been in the safety profession now for over 40 years. And one thing I learned very, very early on about being what I think is a good safety man was don't be a dick, right? If you, as the safety guy, drive up to a job and the crew gives you, if you get that look, and all you guys have seen it, that look of, oh shit, the safety guy is here. If you get that and you get that vibe, we're doing something wrong. If you get to the job and the first thing you do is start looking for things that are wrong and start pointing out only the negative, you're doing it wrong. And if you find something that you think needs to be addressed and you don't speak to the crew about it, you just send an email, to the supervisor, you're doing it wrong. This drive-by safety is not good. If you don't understand the work and you don't have a thorough understanding of the rules and the procedures and how they apply to the work, maybe you're not the right guy for the job. I don't know. Things can be improved, obviously. If the crew isn't welcoming you and they don't value your views and opinions, then you got work to do. Now, don't get me wrong, it's a two-way street, and we'll talk more about that in a bit. So, but guys, as the safety man, or safety person, we have to demonstrate genuine concern for the people, and you can't pretend you're a cop. Being the safety guy, being the safety person, it's more than a job. I believe it's a vocation. And I think it's an extremely important position in our industry, especially today. Things are changing. And I'll be honest, I've seen a lot of companies over the years that fill this position with just a warm body. And sometimes, not always, but sometimes they're just not the right person for the job. And if they're not, it can be very harmful. And I'll admit that. That some of the concerns that people express after this meme was put up, I think are valid to a point. But again, it's a two-way street, but as that safety guy, you've got to earn the crew's respect, and you need the respect of your team. And if you ever do anything where you lose their respect, you've lost it. It's gone, and it's hard to get it back. If you're inventing facts, if you're violating any rules yourself, if you don't know the answer to the question, admit it. Get their input, get some education, admit you're wrong, admit you don't know, and find the answer. Work it out. Making something up because you're supposed to know everything won't do anybody any good. And the reason why I'm talking about this is these are some of the responses that this meme was getting. You got safety guys out there that don't know the regs, they don't know the work, they don't know the processes, and they make stuff up. So we can't do that. We're never going to get the culture we need and the attitudes we need if that's the case. So, but damn it, guys, it's just as the safety guy has to have the right attitude. So do the guys in the field. The safety guy just wants you to follow the rules and go home safe. And maybe the methods that they use can use some improvement. Obviously. But let's face it, I think in some cases, there's attitudes, there's safety attitudes out in the field that contribute to this problem. And of course, that needs improvement as well. And that's what I want to talk about today. I think, when I talk about safety, workplace safety attitude, I refer to that as your ability to respond either positively or negatively towards safety. A safety goal or an idea or a procedure. It is a fact that work attitude not only affects how well you do your job, but also affects how safe you are when you're doing it. And this workplace safety attitude, to me, can be described as a spark that drives your behavior. And if you have a positive attitude, workplace safety attitude, you tend to derive a great deal of satisfaction, not only from your work, but from your life. Positive people seldom give up, and they usually perform well in the workplace because they're motivated to maintain an open mind and are receptive to new ideas. They tend to pay more attention to detail and consider, the possible outcomes of the ways in which they act. And people with a positive workplace attitude tend to develop safe work habits because among other things, they're always looking for ways to improve. And so that has a big impact on how they behave, in the field when it comes to their safety behavior. So there's a lot of ways to identify those workers that are in the field that have these positive attitudes. And I think one of the main ways is that you can identify these people by the way, their ability to think first, and focus on safety and solely on the task at hand. And particularly when we're dealing in our industry with such high risk hazardous work, when that's involved, man, this workplace safety attitude is key. So, those people out there with the best workplace safety attitudes they're more alert, they're more attentive, they're more eager to do things right. They're just more careful. Their task focus is better, and they're more team oriented. It's just the way it is, and things are going to improve. Our culture is going to improve. So, and those attitudes are going to lead to, better protection of our equipment, of our property, and especially our workforce, our coworkers, and it's going to help us prevent all types of accidents and near misses. It's just going to change the culture. So it's going to better prepare us for emergencies, if we've got a better workplace safety attitude. And it certainly, in my view, helps to maintain workforce morale, rather than having a workforce that's full of these negative attitudes. So to me, it is essential. If we ever want to get to a point where we've got a workplace that is free of SIF, serious injury and fatality, the safety attitude has to be there. So, and I think another thing too that I think is key with this is those that work in the field that have a more positive safety attitude tend to be more willing to volunteer, to be on safety committees and act as a safety leader, take a more positive active role when, during safety meetings and training. They're going to be more likely to suggest improvements. They're going to be more cooperative when the safety guy does come. Even if the safety guy's got some faults, and even if he's got some things he needs to work on, if we got the right attitude, we can help that. We can change that situation. We can help, inform someone who's the safety person when they're in areas they're lacking. We can teach them. We can bring them along. But if we put up those barriers and just automatically assume that this guy's a jerk, and we're not gonna help, it's not going to improve that situation. So we have to set that example. We have to be that guy that sets the example of a good safety attitude for others, especially our new employees. That's critical. You bring a new guy in and you start, and you've got this bad vibe on the work site that tells this new guy, hey, here comes the safety guy, put up your barriers, treat him like shit, then that's not good for anyone. So, so when we have that negative attitude, we get that crew, or we get that person, or we get several people that complain about everything, including having to practice safety. They're just much less likely to care about the desired quality of the job. They're less likely to follow safety rules, and this negative work attitude, safety attitude, can lead to unsafe habits and accidents. And guys, it becomes all too easy to ignore safety precautions and to keep everybody safe and put everybody at risk. Negative attitudes, it closes individuals down. It makes them lose interest. It creates this environment where people are unable to maintain pride in their work. If the workplace is filled with negative attitudes towards safety, there's going to be an increase in production costs. There's going to be turnovers. There's going to be a reduction in employee safety. There's going to be a reduction in morale, quality, profitability. It's just negative attitudes are going to change that. So just remember, guys, you're the first line of defense, right? Against unsafe practices. And with a proper safety attitude, you're going to be more aware of the hazards, the conditions, defective equipment, and any of the other hazards that are present. You're going to be more likely to warn your coworkers and to keep people out of harm's way. Nobody on that job site, especially the safety guy, sometimes knows your job, knows the tools better than you do. And if you think a job is unsafe and the task is unsafe, if you've got that positive safety attitude, you're going to be more likely to stop the work and communicate those concerns with your coworkers and your supervisor or whoever needs to know. So it's critical. So one thing else that I think that a good safety attitude will help with is your level of acceptable risk. The level of acceptable risk is basically when that warning light comes on that each of us have. It's that threshold that establishes the level of risk that we are willing to take or accept to perform a task. And once that alarm goes off, you've gone too far, right? And so with a bad attitude, with a attitude towards safety, like the ones that I read on this subreddit, the comments, the way people are out there, and how they perceive safety rules and safety in general, this is going to harm your ability to know where that is, where that level of acceptable risk is. And each time you take a risk while performing your job, your level for that acceptable risk goes up. And you start telling yourself, I've done this 100 times and nothing's going to happen to me. I'm going to be just fine and nothing's going to happen to me. And you've got to learn to lower that level of acceptable risk as you plan your work. And it's going to be a hell of a lot easier to do that when you have that positive attitude. So just to close here, guys, I've got a little long today. People go to work every day, every single day, expecting not to be injured. And as an employee, you have the right to a safe workplace. And that's your company's responsibility to make sure that you have the training and the materials and the environment you need to be safe. But the only person that is responsible for the outcome is you, right? You're responsible. And so guys, ask yourself, how comfortable are you? What shortcuts are you taking and what price are you willing to pay? Where are you at? What price are you willing to pay physically and monetarily? And then you also have to ask yourself, who else is going to pay? What price are you willing to let your family pay? Your wife, your kids? Where are you at? How comfortable are you? So that's my rant for the day. And be safe out there. There's been a couple more incidents reported in the last couple weeks. I don't know all the details. I just know that we've had some injuries and possibly a fatality occur. So be careful out there. And remember, like I always tell you guys, you're the last one to have the hands on it. The last one to have that train of thought go through your mind on what got you where you're at, what you're about to do, and what the potential outcome is. Just you. Thanks.